Hey everyone, it's Pastor Dave from St. John in Woodbury, Minnesota. Thanks for checking out today's 5 minutes of hope. It is Wednesday, it is April 29th, which means that we're only a couple days away from May. And I do pray, as always, that this video, this devotion finds you well, that life is going as well as is possible during these strange times. And as always, I pray that you are filled with peace, with joy, with love, and with hope. All these things that God gives to us freely through Jesus. So as we've been doing, just going to share a little joke for us today, and then a couple of devotional thoughts on the benefits, the blessings of solitude. So a quick joke for us. This is about a pastor and his son. And so it was a Sunday, and after church, the son went up to his dad, and he asked his dad why he always closed his eyes before he got ready to stand up and give the sermon. And his dad responded and said, well, during that time I'm praying, and I'm praying that God would give me a good sermon to give to the people. And his son sat there for a second, and he thought about it for a second, and he responded, and he said, Dad, why do you think God doesn't answer that prayer? There you go. I'm sure you've thought about that before if you listen to some of my sermons, and I'm sure my kids have thought about that before as well. So hopefully you chuckled or at least groaned a little bit, but maybe a little pick me up today on this hump day, this Wednesday, 5 minutes of hope. So there you go, your little laughter for the day. So again, like I said, our devotional thought today is on solitude. And solitude is an interesting thing because when life is going normally, I would say, for many of us, we seek solitude. We desire solitude. We just want some quiet time, some alone time, some me time. Usually with life, things are just going at a frantic pace. That we're always busy with this thing or that thing, with work, with school, with activities, whatever it is. And now everything's been shut down. And so what's interesting is when things are kind of normal, we desire solitude, just some quiet time, some alone time. But now that everything's kind of shut down, it's becoming more of a challenge, more of a burden to have all of this solitude. It's interesting. You talk to people, and people are responding to everything that's going on differently. In fact, I talked to a guy just yesterday in a meeting, and he was actually talking about how, and he felt a little guilty saying this, but how much he's enjoying this stay-at-home order, enjoying everything being shut down because for him, he was talking about how when life is normal, when it's regular, life is crazy. The kids' activities and work and stuff in the neighborhood, and now he's saying that with everything shut down, he's been able to spend so much quality time with his kids, with his family, with his wife. They're gardening together. They're going for walks together. They're reading books together. And so again, we see the gift of solitude. That solitude draws us closer to the people around us when all these other distractions are taken away. And we see that ultimately with our relationship with God. That when we go into times of solitude, times of intentional quietness, of separation, it allows us to connect to God in a unique way. In fact, I like these words from a guy that, like I said, I quote a lot. He's a priest, he's an author, Henry Nouwen. And he talks about the blessings of solitude and that connecting us to God. And so he talks about this ability to grow. He says, it is in solitude that this inner freedom, the freedom to connect with God, can grow. Jesus went to a lonely place to pray, that is, to grow in the awareness that all the power he had was given to him, that all the words he spoke came from his Father, and that all the works he did were not really his, but the works of the one who had sent him. A life without a lonely place, that is, a life without a quiet center, easily becomes destructive. When we cling to the results of our actions as our only way of self-identification, when we become possessive and defensive and tend to look at our fellow human beings more as enemies to be kept at a distance than as friends with whom we share the gifts of life. And so in solitude, we can slowly unmask the illusion of our possessiveness and discover in the center of our own self that we are not what we can conquer, but what is given to us by God. And so again, what Nouwen is getting at is that in solitude, we can hear and connect with God in a unique way. In solitude, we can really see the people around us for who they are as God's gift to us. And so right now you might be watching this, and the idea of this extensive solitude, of things being shut down, might be a struggle, and I understand that. But I would encourage you, I would invite you to take advantage of this solitude, this quietness, this time where everything is shut down, to really focus on being in God's Word, to listening to His voice, and to really finding ways to allow that to connect you, even if it's not in person, but to connect you with the people that God has placed in your life. And so again, like I said, that's my prayer for you, for all of us, is that this time of solitude, this time of quarantine, would bring us and draw us closer to God in maybe new and unique ways, and likewise closer to the people in our life. So God bless you, and God bless you in this time of solitude.